ban already from them on that blue side. Then we get the Zeri, the LeBlanc, and the Jax ban from LNG.
So now things like the Kalista being left open, Poppy left open as well. BLG going to instantly go over to that one. I wonder if LNG here, you feel confident picking up the Kalista because Light has only played it 3 times this split. It is banned against LNG quite a bit, but now being open here, being able to pick it up, a lot's going to be on Light's back to deliver down in this bottom lane.
And they get the instant lock into the Kalista Renata, so they're very confident in that term. And you were saying, BLG prepping some blue side drafts. Well, LNG might have a little bit of tricks up their sleeve on the red side. I love to see that we're getting that holistic focus on the bottom lane right now to even up and trying to change up the bans in later phases as well, play some of those mind games that we know and love. But we wonder what BLG are going to grab for Doggo here. It does look like just tried and true, the Aphelios.
I wonder if they go for support as well, if they just want to lock in something generic, right? We used to have, when Renata first came out, a lot of people just picking Nautilus Aphelios into it or Jinx Aphelios back then as well. You could go for that. Jax now not left open, which feels like it has been the go-to blind for top. So for BLG, maybe the only thing other than, support would be maybe a Gnar pick if you were willing to go towards something like that very early on. But no, they're going the complete opposite direction, coming straight out with the Fiora.
Taking the other side of the matchup that we saw in game number 2 that actually worked out for Ala that time around. But this time it's been going to be throwing down the gauntlet or the grand challenge, as you will. And I will reiterate, this is a confidence pick. This is a setup pick for BLG, but they are still backs against the wall, right? They make a couple mistakes. LNG win 1 game. That's the series. That's their season done. So they have to be true in these picks that they grab. And a lot of that, forward aggression that we wanted from them in game 3 that we got. Now it is the Gnar actually making it through here. Another pick to watch from the beginning of the day here, Lyric, that will be on Ala's board.
Yeah, now one thing we have very clearly, right, is if this game goes late, BLG are going to be stacked. They do still need some engage. We hit on the Nautilus. I'm glad that LNG have taken that one off the board. So going to make it a little bit more annoying for them to just find an easy pickup down in that bot lane, because typically I think other engaged supports, whether things like the Leona or the Alistar, could be a little bit more rough or a little bit more annoying to go into the Renata. The range, having the ability to go for the hook is one of the things that really opens that one up. But now LNG for their second ban, going to take away the Lulu. For BLG, you're still kind of just targeting middling picks that are able to come through. Not a whole ton of worthwhile ultimates, I think, that you could steal, so maybe not take away the Sylas. I don't know if you need to be too concerned about the Ahri, because it's something that Doinb hasn't showed at all this split. So that would be quite a surprise if he was confident enough or willing to bring it out in playoffs.
I actually think it's really interesting. Oh, okay. So we get the Akali ban for BLG and the Nocturne. So not wanting to give that counter pick potentially to Doinb, as maybe they want to go for that Ahri for Icon this time around. The Trundle locked in for Tarzan.
I think you could. I think you could definitely go for the Ahri here, considering you took that off the table, and Doinb would once again have to show something else. Of course, the Lissandra is still there for him and would just give them more engage. We've been talking about this Azir pick since before the games even started. Seriously, Icon just had such an insane carry performance on it in one of their last series of the split, and it was it was against OMG. Seriously, pretty much single-handedly carried their game against OMG. It was beautiful. So he's going to go back to this.
Look at him.
And BLG just tripling down on this pick. You're right, Doinb laughing. Looks like he must have something in the cards.
I'm hoping. I'm waiting. We'll see. Maybe it's the Pantheon. Maybe it's something else. We'll get that locked in here in a little bit. But now it's on to the last pick for BLG. It is the setup for Crisp, who, again, hasn't been having the most miraculous at least season/series, right? Because this guy, allotted for a lot of the efforts he's put in the past, really needs to step up to the table for him. And it will be on the Rakan, so a lot of that give and take, a lot of that back and forth.
So he is going to have to be the engage and set up for BLG. The good thing for BLG is they have so much range and so much zone control. If they can get on objectives, or if we have a contest over mid-wave, they will do quite well. And Doinb smiling just because Azir means he gets to go back to his tried and true Corki pick. So we'll at least give them something to lean into if this game does go later on. But just the amount of peel coming out from BLG, Empress Divide, what WeiWei can do with his ultimate, being able to shut people down with his W, you having the Aphelios could be rough. But who knows? Maybe the Rockets could be enough, or if Tarzan can show us what he was doing in the first 2 games, playing down towards that bot side, trying to enable Light to have an advantage, and then just snowballing through bot lane, could be enough.
Yeah, it's all about focus for Tarzan specifically, but as well as, you know, Doinb feeling confident to get the Corki out yet again against this Azir matchup. And it's really about, for BLG, where they try to find that proactivity. Because I think, obviously, we're looking at that early game for the bottom lane of LNG in Light and Lumao, how they can kind of use that to find the advantage. It's the first time we've seen Kalista in the series so far, but it's about navigating that for Tarzan, somebody who's seen we've set up to be so integral for LNG to find any wins.
Yeah, for early game, going to be a lot on Tarzan and then the bot lane for the side of LNG. For BLG, I think it's a lot about WeiWei just covering his lanes. If you can get some vision down in river, or if you can just like pop your head and spot out where Tarzan is and make sure you guys are finding landing phase, it's good. And as the game progresses, the two big carries are actually going to be the mid laners, because mid laners just outranging everyone on the opposing sides of the team could make a difference. So Icon versus Doinb in this fourth game is actually going to matter so much, Mazel.
It absolutely is, and for every game from here on out, it matters for BLG. Against the ropes, one game from having their summer season end, but they do not want to let that happen yet. It's BLG versus LNG, game number 4.
BLG in a position to bring it back 2-2. Then it'll just be a best of 1 that decides who gets to move on to the next round and play against WeiWei. You know, whoever moves on, that will be a tough task ahead of them. I will say, at least if, you know, for either of them, that WeiWei are also a team that I think have shown very high highs, maybe some of the highest highs we've seen, like when they beat V5, but also some incredibly low lows. So going to be a rough path no matter who comes out ahead.
And again, just touching on some of the things we've set up for both these two teams in this series, which I feel like we have seen some adaptations from, right? BLG, towards the end of the season, putting a lot of focus towards bottom lane, putting a lot of focus on where these resources get put. But it was that, you know, early focus that was so good for them. It was the late mid game that was so difficult. But we've seen them kind of try to adapt that in this series. LNG on the other side, led by Tarzan, speaking of the man himself, trying to find those early advantages to spread through the rest of the team. And that cannot be more emphasized than with the draft they've gotten for themselves this game 4.
And we will see, they will be able to go in and steal away the red buff. WeiWei just going to opt into doing his Raptors so he can hit level 2 at the same time. Will be a camp down, but at least able to keep that up. And now, oh my god, does Tarzan do it? He does!
Level 2 gank. Doggo, you might be in some trouble. Nice grand entrance there, but they try to get the damage onto Doggo. That will be the cleanse and the flash from the AD carry of BLG.
Ah, the disrespect coming out from BLG's bot lane opens it up perfectly for Tarzan. Just has to walk it down. Doesn't even really cut into any of his time. And now so much pressure for Light and Lumao in this lane. I mean, one handshake that can come out from Lumao just going to be such a good trade for Light.
Yeah, and it can be so devastating, the early damage that Kalista can put down, especially stacking up those Rends. Like, even 2 spears there with a Rend does a ton of damage to Crisp, and they will continue to hone this aggression in bottom lane, as is expected when you grab the Kalista and the Renata. But you have to look maybe elsewhere for BLG as well.
So, WeiWei ignored his blue. I think they sensed that a play was going to come through with the fact that the flash is down, and they found some trades, and is running straight down to try to cover the play coming out from LNG.
And Tarzan is spotted out on the ward there. To finally realize it as WeiWei taking, as you said, some of his own time to come down this way. And I don't know if Tarzan necessarily realizes they're there. Maybe they feel this would be a little bit of that aggression from game 3 that came back to hurt themselves. And WeiWei just takes this time to get those Krugs, get this bottom lane a little bit more safety here as he hovers.
Overall, just nice roam by WeiWei down. I mean, doesn't do his blue, makes his way over. LNG can kind of spot that something's a little bit fishy in terms of their bot lane, you know, maybe staying and being fine. Is a I don't know if that was the hop that he wanted to take.
It's definitely not. I mean, you know, he's a little guy there. Oh, look at this, though. They are caught out. Doggo was actually initiating a back there. Crisp able to get away, though, at the last second. And it's just trying to find every mini advantage that LNG can in the bottom side.
Not going to turn into too much, though, right? And you can even see, in terms of experience, Doggo and Crisp being slightly ahead. Lumao will hit 3 now, so not really too big a deal at the end of the day. But for BLG, the name of the game really is survive in my books. As long as they can make sure that LNG don't find the plays. Like, sure, there's a chance as we go later, like Doinb can just pop off, carry a fight with some insane package. But you just are hitting on so many fronts for the side of BLG. Once again, leaning into having 3 carries, 3 threats you need to worry about.
WeiWei gonna try to aggress onto Tarzan here. That early poppy aggression we saw Tarzan use so well in his game, in game 2. But this time around, it's WeiWei realizing he can't stay too much longer. They will have vision, though, on Tarzan taking his red buff, and Ala needs to be a little bit more careful here. But we'll see both junglers pathing down towards the mid, towards the bot lane here, as top lane will continue to be on an island a little bit.
I feel like WeiWei hoping he could look for that because he did have prio in top and mid, but Icon's mana is incredibly low. And for Bin, like, sure, he has prio, but the wave's not really in a place where he can leave, and Ala can't just very easily follow him. So LNG would have been able to take that trade. So I think for BLG, good idea not to opt into over-aggression for a red buff or to fight Tarzan in his own jungle. They back off, and they're doing just fine for now.
Yeah, it should be, I believe, Sheen for Tarzan as he gets back. And oh, no, he's actually going to go with the boost of swiftness here to start off with a little bit of speed. And he's heading down to this bottom side of the map. We wonder if this is where we see LNG maybe take their first dragon of the game in this series here with a little bit of that pressure from bottom lane. But it feels like it's just more so to get some resources to one of these carries, either Doinb or Light.
For LNG, ideally, right, you want to go for the gank first, try and either burn more summoners or get them low enough to where then you could turn on the objective. And now with the wave coming into them, Light Lumao getting the bounce back, that there is potential for them to find this, but WeiWei making his way down as well. Yeah,
every time he's just shadowing Tarzan, he's able to move himself around the map in good positions. It will be on to Doggo here. The cleanse already used. Push back from WeiWei is big. Tarzan flashing forward, though. The handshake. Is they going to get Doggo? And that's first blood to LNG. Almost a second as well. They forced the play, and this time they come up aces.
Great job by LNG. The flash is coming through from Light and Tarzan to be able to follow the members of BLG, get those kills on the board. Now they'll be able to push this wave in. Do have low health bars, but still look comfortable enough to be able to go towards this Drake. Doinb already hovering over now, so hopefully they spot out that ward. You can clear that one out and not give BLG any chances, because BLG are making their way through their jungle right now.
Yeah, this could be something to capitalize on if LNG decide to stick around. Looks like they're just going to fight over the scuttle, try to get that vision down in front of it, so if they want to get a reset play, it is set up for them. But this is exactly the early game you want for the bottom lane, at least in LNG's favor.
Playing off the bounce back that they'd initiated before, able to throw the pillar down, which Doggo does immediately cleanse, and WeiWei trying to do his best to play keep away. With no stun, no lockdown, they're able to flash. Oh, wait!
He has the grand challenge on him, but Ben takes an extra tower shot there. It's a very, very close trade in the top side.
Both top laners have TP, so they'll be able to come back to lane just fine. The wave state really good for Ben right now. Could keep up the pressure in this 1v1, trying to zone Ala out.
They were both waiting. Oh my goodness, sorry. I was looking at the mini-map so hard. We had mental gameplay, but talk about mental gameplay. Doinb, he's going to go down to Icon, and he gets the advantage here. Big stuff from BLG.
Icon going in, using the Emperor's Divide to pull him back, and then Crisp being there to punish his former mid laner, but the punishes don't stop Mazel.
Yeah, Ala, he does not have Mega Gnar. He does have the hop over the minions, though, so he gets out of that one. Does have to be a little bit more careful on the top side, I feel like, but you'll take that as BLG.
Bin still holding the wave, setting up that situation to be able to come through for BLG. And now, I mean, Herald about to come up on the map. You can see Lumao already hovering up there right now. I think it might be a bit too
back.
Zala.
Oh, he doesn't really have much. Oh, that Mega Gnar, though, that was actually really big. Right back up. He has Tarzan coming up here. He's just playing with fire, and I love it.
Doinb now able to get this prio in mid, so this looks like it should be a situation where LNG can just start up the Rift Herald. Tarzan Doinb incredibly strong right now. Ala already got his base off, so will be coming down from lane, and Light and Lumao pathing up.
Doinb committing so hard there. Takes 2 tower shots just to deny a little back from Icon, but hey, you'll love to see that aggression because that means the back comes through later. They don't have the mid laner to come to try and contest this Rift Herald, and LNG make good map movements, especially bringing Light and Lumao. I feel like it's a little overkill, but they want to commit to these objectives, to this advantage.
Definitely don't feel like they needed to commit fully up, but no, oh, they actually want to trade lanes. I actually like this coming out for LNG. Maybe thinking the top lane matchup was getting a little too hard to deal with, so they could go for this, try to utilize the Herald to find an advantage in terms of plates, but look at BLG on the opposite side. They're actually blocking off Ala from being able to get to the turret.
They were trying to collapse down there as well, but I feel like, you know, if they use the Rift Herald here, we'll get a little bit more in terms of breaking open the pressure, although you don't want to give Doggo all this free gold, which they're doing. That's 2 plates already for Aphelios.
A lot of it coming from the fact that Olive not able to enter, not feeling safe. It was the right call, right? Because we saw WeiWei and Crisp initially just waiting in that brush. They did back off at the end of the day, but my God, Doggo, he's getting so rich!
So rich! The Aphelios coming in clutch with the gold early on. Olive finally able to get back into the lane. But LNG, they actually didn't pull the trigger on the Rift Herald, waiting a little bit longer to ensure the tower break. It's WeiWei taking the dragon this whole time.
I feel like if they wanted to commit to that play fully, probably need to have Doinb shadow down towards bot side to give Ala the freedom to enter. Still, LNG will be able to pick this turret up first if they want, considering Tarzan does still have this Herald in pocket. So it does look like they will be able to guarantee themselves the first turret gold going over. No dragon on the board, though, so it feels like we're going to default back into ping-ponging waves. Woohoo!
I think the Rift Herald charge the first tower for LNG is actually so huge, right? BLG will be able to respond here into the second charge. Not able to get that one in, more than likely at least. But it is so incredibly important for Light to get any resources possible on this Kalista to try to snowball.
We're going to see the
Oh my God,
guaranteed
it
second
actually does.
charge. So that's still good, but now I don't feel like LNG can really do too much with this long lane. Like, had it been swapped right and if LNG had the Fiora, maybe this could make a big difference. Bin now, if he wanted to, right, could slow push this back, make Allah's life very difficult, and I can't believe both teams are still posturing over this.
Oh, wait. Gonna have to flash. He does have the Hex flash, though, after that one. It was a cheeky play from LNG, but nothing comes of it.
LNG know they're feeling the pressure in terms of just how much threat BLG have later on across all their carries. So trying to find every small opportunity that they can. Really, at this point, I feel like looking towards Light to be able to get that first mythic is when LNG will be feeling pretty strong to look for these fights, and now can swap back, try and prevent Doggo from being able to take this turret, and at least keep the gold imbalance slightly in LNG's favor.
And I want to go back to kind of the overarching theme here. We were saying in the draft, right, that LNG wanted to find early advantages. They have some scaling options. They have some damage in the late game, but if Light can get ahead, right, they can snowball from that point. BLG on the other side, they're fine with some of these advantages going over because they are relying in that late game potential for themselves. That team fight, the splitting of Bin in the side lane as well. And I think it's super interesting as we're 12 minutes in to see how they've tried to navigate this, especially for LNG.
LNG have definitely been trying to find the aggression, right? We've seen Tarzan lean towards bot numerous times. I mean, he's tried to make plays up towards top as well, but not really able to find anything that sticks. WeiWei did a great job of shadowing every time Tarzan was around the bottom half of the map in the early game to not let these plays go through. And that's why for BLG, you can still see them sticking in this core group, try and have at least a defensive vision line down at the entrance of your own jungle. You know, if you can get a neutral vision line in river, that's great, but if not, as long as you have eyes on where LNG are, they aren't able to make these plays come through.
And I'm also looking at next objective setup for these guys because I think that's something that has always been a little bit of an elephant in the room for both these two teams. When we were coming into this one, right, it was a lot of they need to be set up. They don't want to force things, but they do anyways a lot of the time. But we have both objectives coming up here, and that's where I want to go into where BLG, you were saying last game, willing to kind of play those trades across the map, and I wonder if we get a little bit more of that, or if LNG try to force those fights that we're saying they might need to do.
For LNG, I still feel like their only real avenue would be looking towards bot, to where for WeiWei, it feels like you really have plays available to anywhere on the map. If Ala overextends, very easy to punish top. We've already seen Icon can initiate in the mid lane with the Emperor's Divide, and their bot lane as well, having the engage from the Rakan. So for WeiWei, I still think it's just a lot about covering, a lot about shadowing, staying down towards the spot side. And then when we get to Dragon setups, for LNG, a lot of it's going to be entering through wherever Light and Moonmount are. They're going to have a consistent pressure point to enter from that bot lane. For BLG, I think it would require grouping up, winning the mid contest with the Azir, who actually might die, Mazel.
He does have Flash available and the Shrima Shuffle out there. Tarzan wants it. He was thinking about it. Icon's actually moving forward to try to punish, and now be a little bit careful on his way out, but there you go. He's out of there easy. No Flash needed.
You know, as long as the attempt was made, we're happy. So what more can you ask for? Icon's playing Azir. He's going to get out fine every time. But Tarzan looking for the play. But guess what, Mazel? 40 seconds. 2 objectives
Fight.
coming up, double the action, getting to see how these teams actually look to prep for this.
So
Because we still have been keeping up that pressure in topside, which could open access for BLG to look to take Herald. But I wonder if LNG will look at the test.
I mean, Doggo's going to try to get back now with those objectives spawning. I was going to say there could be an item differential coming through from the carriers, but Doggo able to get gold at the last second, gets his Gale Force completed here. We're actually looking at a top lane 1v1 against Ala and Bin, but this is tried and true, as Icon was actually hovering up there as well. We got to see as well something else, that the last time we saw Doinb on the Corki, he was taking very unique package opportunities, it felt like. And I want to see if they clean that up a little bit, if they try to utilize that more, as BLG already forcing their hand, taking the Rift Arrow.
BLG made the right call. We just said they're the team that has pressure in topside. Bin has just been holding the wave there. He knows he wins 1v1s at any time from here on forward. They're able to use that threat, get the flash, turn this into a Herald. And LNG not even starting up a cross map just yet in regards to Dragon. Light is taking this turret because BLG are smart and see bot wave because they don't want to give LNG an opportunity to dive, but they're turning instantly onto mid turret.
They are. They'll try to get down their first turret of the game, as LNG have already found 2, but this Rift Arrow will definitely strike through here. As Luna on the side with the hostile takeover, they go too deep. So that will be tower in the outside of the base for LNG. Triple Keeper's Verdict. That's going to ensure another charge and another tower here for BLG.
Nice move by WeiWei to make sure they get 2 turrets down. Crisp not going to give a kill over the Light. This might make it hard to contest Drake if LNG did look to start that one up, you know, not having such a valuable tool in the Poppy ultimate to be able to knock people away. So now is where I'd like to see LNG trying to start fighting for this vision control of River once again.
Looks like they are just going to move into the Dragon Pit here with Tarzan. Try to pull out the Dragon itself, as Crisp actually getting the reset. Ala is being visited by the mean man, WeiWei. He finds him again, and Icon gets the kill.
Great flash coming out from WeiWei to make sure that the Hop isn't able to go through. Sets up for another kill on the side of BLG. LNG do pick up a Dragon, so now is 1 apiece, and we get it. We get the spicy Rift. We get Infernal on the board, Mazel.
Doinb has package. Again, very interesting. But in all actuality, right, like, that is the capitalization you want to see for BLG. And they have been punishing Ala so much in this series. I don't know what he did to WeiWei and Bin, but this is an absolute pain point right now for LNG because the constant focus from WeiWei. We saw the early game. He was shadowing Tarzan. He was stopping that early bottom lane focus. And now WeiWei is able to find his own advantages as he crest into the mid game.
Coming into the series, you know, no matter where you lean in most lanes, I think the clearest place where there was an advantage for BLG was top. I think Bin has had a spectacular season, and Ala has not really been able to deliver, as there it is, a beautiful flash. W is up to make sure the Hop doesn't connect. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Ala wasn't starting for so long, right? Is that wasn't really looking too great. So the fact that BLG have indexed it to at least being able to punish it, but you could see Bin's CS lead almost at 40 is just going to be a place where BLG can keep going in. And Mazel, I feel it. I feel 5 games.
I'm feeling it as well. I'm here for it, and I'm here for Bin's pickup of the Fiora, right? Like, this is such a huge pick, and now the side lane is completely won for BLG, it feels like. And as in terms of LNG, I think you have to look at, you know, how Ala can get a big Mega Gnar ulti, but especially how the damage profile comes down. You've got to put such a huge focus on Doinb and Light in terms of navigating these team fights later on.
For LNG, I love that you hit on the Gnar component to it, because if they can find a flank, if he can get right on top of Doggo and Icon, smash him into a wall and set up for the DPS and damage to come out from Doinb and Light, that is definitely, in my mind, the only avenue that LNG have. Unless BLG just all run into like a beautiful hostile takeover.
That's true.
But we are not going to bank on all of BLG running it down as, you know, as a win condition for LNG. So LNG definitely still having... Yeah, I was gonna, it's not the worst bet to take, but for LNG, I feel like they have shown that they have been the slightly smarter team in the series so far, like having good vision, being able to bring those flanks from the board and having some nice rotations, but I feel like the longer this goes, sure, the gold is even for now and might even be slightly in favor as Icon.
He goes in. That's a big Emperor's Divide. Doinb misses the rocket. Here comes the follow-up. The grand entrance is huge. The hostile takeover as well. Icon finally goes down, but LNG, they are now surrounded, and they are in some trouble. We'll see Light try to dodge out of this one, but Doggo has so much damage. He's already found himself a double kill. You got Tarzan running away now. That's a triple for the AD carry of BLG.
BLG finding the fight that they want. It looked a little bit suspect from Icon at first, but knowing he had members to be able to follow up was what allowed them to take the fight. Now Ala trying to pressure mid, but won't be able to keep it up much longer. It's multiple members of BLG are here. It's just sad that this fight wasn't maybe 20 seconds later, or this could have been a Baron for BLG.
Yeah, right? Like, the timing would have worked out so beautifully, but I got to go back to the mistakes, the overextensions, the mispositionings from LNG. They just commit so heavily, and all of BLG are running here to make sure that they punish.
I mean, I can understand why they look at this play, right? The turret's going down. They think Icon's caught out. Buys enough time with the stopwatch for reinforcements to be able to come through, though, for BLG. And we've already gotten to a point where I feel like BLG are just stronger in 5v5s. This wasn't even a 5v5, right? LNG might pick off on her first. They take a ton of damage. Then it becomes a 4v4 because Ala was never here, was pushing in mid lane the whole time. And that's why I feel like even if gold on paper is even, it actually feels like BLG are the ones in control of this game so far.
And I always like to look at player cam, see how players are doing, what they're working through. And Doinb is being so vocal right now, and you've got to expect it's talking about the setups, trying to figure out what their next game plans are. Because again, for BLG, they are looking at the scaling factor. We were putting a lot of eggs in the Light early game basket, and I would say we've gotten a little bit of that focus. He's 3-1, but I wouldn't say it's a blow open of the game so far. And you've got to be so worried about the amount of damage that's going to be coming out from the BLG squad.
Especially when you factor into, like, just imagining an extended standoff over an objective. If Bin is TP, he's going to be pressuring your side lane. You feel like someone has to go answer him. Icon's poking you. Depending on the guns, Doggo's poking you. So for LNG, the only thing you have in response in this extended stare-off would be the rockets coming out from Doinb, right? Light not able to do anything. Loom out on Renata. Renata's the type of champion who wants people engaging into her. Does not do well when you have these kind of extended posturings and people are just throwing out poke back and forth. So those are the setups and situations where I'm most afraid of for LNG.
I am looking, though, and it is Light, who has finished his third item of the game, the Wits in coming through. So a little bit of defense, a little bit of attack speed there to set up for these fights. BLG pounce on the Dragon, and it'll go down before Tarzan can even get in the pit. So now LNG are mispositioned here. They're TPing in to try to save the day. The Fate's Call is going to be used. Bin maybe caught out here. Lubao, you need to be careful. That is a Fiora. Doinb has the package now. Maybe one of the first times we could see him in this game utilize the package to make a difference here. And it's making LNG feel a lot more confident. I think BLG see that Doinb has the package. Like, oh, we don't want your package. Go away, delivery man.
Now I wonder, is LNG, because you have package, do you just accept that it was taken and you can't find a fight? Or do you start feeling pressure to actually accelerate the game, try and find a fight in your favor, and move over to the Baron? Because I feel like those are your two options, right? You either keep turtling, put some vision down, and keep playing for higher item spikes for Corki, or you move over to this Baron, you try to force the fight. This is the option I like seeing.
They did this before. They're going to try to force the hand of BLG. The Baron already down to quarter health. WeiWei is spotted out. All 5 members. There's the package for Doinb across the way. Tarzan's getting a little bit low here. Those Rin stacks, that's going to help secure the Baron at least. WeiWei goes in. He's trying to get in the pit. He's there. Their fight's already going, but it's Doggo with the 200-year gameplay. Yes, it is Light that gets the Baron, but BLG take the fight.
I feel like BLG having such an easy time taking that fight. Once again, package might zone them off, but LNG aren't really anywhere close to finishing up the Baron. They could wait it out. We see Moonlight Vigil comes out. Crisp able to go in with the engage. They didn't even need the Emperor's Divide. They didn't even need WeiWei's ultimate to be able to come through to just smack LNG in the face right there. And it looks like we are going towards it. It looks like we're going to make our way to potentially another 5-game series because BLG keeping up the pressure so far.
They are indeed. They'll take down another outer tower.
LNG might have Baron, but I don't know if it matters, Mazel.
Yeah, and it's, again, the differences that we're seeing in decision-making. It is just tragic that LNG have fallen this far in the series where they were so high up.
And we can see here, right? Package comes through again. It is zoning them off. Baron's still low, but like, look at where Baron health is by the time the package times out. It just lets all these members come in. Rakan going in first, Bin following up. Moonlight Vigil was huge in that fight, and I mean, Ala and Doinb not really able to do anything, despite the fact that they were the two members that we were keeping our eyes on.
LNG just trying to force fights again. They were trying to pick off Bin, but you can't pick off Bin. It's like almost impossible at this point. BLG using the pressure mid lane to position and set themselves up in front of this pit, in front of the jungle that LNG are trying to get Vision Game around. There's not even an objective up for a while, but it's just playing around this give and take for LNG because they realize the side lane's not necessarily going their way.
For BLG, though, they do realize that, right, some members of LNG do have the Baron, so it is a little hard to force these aggressive plays when everyone's showing on the map, but now with Ala recalling and Bin coming in on the side, they can look for it.
Again, Ala not with the team, does have TP. He's trying to stack up the Mega Gnar. Tarzan getting hit pretty hard by Bin. The riposte comes through. The Nice Keeper's verdict, though, separates the fight, which could have been a little bit tricky for BLG. And we'll see just a setup of the mid lane defense again by BLG with these Baron buff minions going to be coming in.
I feel like both sides are using key abilities just so freely and so loose in the series. I'm not quite sure Keeper's verdict there was needed, and now you're not going to have it for when LNG try to just funnel down through mid right here. Moonlight Vigil misses!
Oh, they find the Fate's Call out used by Light. Now they're trying to fight Bin again. They just can't do it every time they're trying to force this. The Mega Gnar brings Bin back, but he's got the Grand Challenge out. He gets rended to death by LNG, and now it's an unmanned fight for BLG. It's 5v4 for LNG in particular, and I think they could look at this tower maybe even a little bit more.
I think they should be able to. No Keeper's verdict. Moonlight Vigil was just thrown out, didn't hit anyone. Crisp doesn't have the quickness. What do you have on the side of BLG?
Doggo playing aggressively. That's what you got. The hostile takeover comes through to separate. WeiWei into trouble, but the tower not going to go down just yet. Doggo's stepping up real confident, like he's gale forcing forward. The Calibrum, it doesn't hit on to Lumao. That'll be just some chakrams headed Doinb's way. Icon goes through with the poke as well. LNG need to be very careful on the peel back.
You could see, though, that the amount Rockets are doing, definitely nowhere in comparison into what they used to. And once again, Doinb not buying a Mythic. Again, I'm guessing a byproduct of that AP scaling being cut by so much. And BLG just going to keep up pressure with the fact that Bin is back up, TPing right into sides, because Dragon's coming up in 15 seconds. LNG backing off. Looks like they might be giving it up. Both of these members do have TP, but I don't know if they really have the ability to contest. Now there's no Mega coming out for Ala.
And they can just utilize Bin's side lane pressure so well to get these objectives for themselves, right? Because at this point, they have to send so many members to deal with Bin in the side lane. The Dragon's already started. There's no way for LNG to get here. So that'll be sole point for BLG, opening up a plethora of options for them as they move forward into this scaling game.
BLG straight up chilling. They are totally fine with how the game's gone so far. Again, just a lot of shadowing, a lot of trying to prevent LNG from their game plan. You see there, Moonlight Vigil thrown, Pillar comes through, doesn't connect on anyone. Quickness, not really able to get anything done as well. The Keeper's verdict had already been thrown out, and it gives LNG this chance where once Ala hits Mega, he's able to lock Bin down, that they're able to find one kill.
And it's a big kill, at least for Light, in terms of getting a little bit of advantage, but finally being able to take down Bin. It will mean that Bin gets his third item, though, here. He did get the Frozen Heart just now, and I feel like BLG, in terms of setup, are working their way to something that's very difficult for LNG to pick apart. But if you get these cool setups from LNG, right, the decisiveness that we feel like has been lacking, at least in the last game and a half at this point, it could make a difference.
It would be huge. I mean, the fact that, both AD carry is incredibly strong right now, right? But Light still being that whole item up and having that GA is definitely something that could be different. Heck, LNG once again, double GAs on board. We're seeing in the bottom left hand of our corner that package is up for Doinb if he wants it. He has the TP, so he'd be very easily able to join a fight at any point in time. But with no Baron, with no Dragon, feels like package would just be wasted.
Yeah, I'm just still so curious. I would love to pick Ox's braid of the timings because it's been really interesting to watch LNG play through this Corki, right, through Doinb. But the timings themselves, right, a little bit of an issue. Speaking of timings, Ala trying to go Mega Gnar. He gets the Mega Gnar. That's huge. The hostile takeover. They get a crisp. They get the fight. The Moonlight Vigil. It's not enough. And LNG out of nowhere. They get what they came for.
Mazel, we said that the chance was so low of BLG actually just running into LNG and giving the opportunity over. We knew it was possible, but it actually happened. 30 seconds on mid and AD carry.
Doinb has the package.
I mean, they could push for another turret, but are they actually just going to look for the end of this?
I mean,
Crisp is coming up in 7 seconds.
If that is a snowball from hell. I've never seen one of those before. If they take the inhib now, they've got 5 members strong. This might be a little overzealous, but if they end it here, it is huge. WeiWei goes in. BLG are getting desperate at this point. It's a 5v3, and LNG, they found it. That's it. BLG, their summer is over, and LNG will deny the reverse sweep. Oh no!
LNG
oh no!
coming out strong. No, they got it, Mazel. LNG able to finish it off. This game should not. Have you ever thought about that? That it's my decision?
We've always known.
Who gets to win series?
We've always, I don't know how that worked out last split though when I became prediction king, but I mean maybe I don't know. Maybe drop the ball on that one.
The hat shuffles from time to time, but no, seriously, big kudos to LNG. LNG looks so much better in the series. They look so good when they brought Ala in for their final series of the split. And things are coming together. Like, it's not perfect, right?
No.
They obviously struggled. We saw, like, Game 3 was very hard. They couldn't find windows. This Game 4, I mean, they shouldn't have won this game, right?
Nope.
Like, BLG were firmly in control of this game. But still, the fact that LNG have the tools to be able to play out early games, like we saw in Game 1 and Game 2, around their jungler, the fact that they have these different picks, they have these different styles and compositions that they can pull out, but also have the like resolve that if they fall behind, have the metal in them, that they can stay calm, they can wait, and are willing to play for any mistakes. And they aren't just going to be one of those teams, you know, let's use an example of like an IG, like win fast, lose fast. If they're behind, IG's just going to keep running you, right? LNG took a step back, they played and waited for these mistakes to come through and just capitalized.
It's, oh my God. It was so neck and neck, right? And it was a lot of give and takes. We were always saying, right? The scaling, the possibility of Icon and Doggo in the team fight late game, Ben in the side lane, there's nobody that can deal with him. They try to get that engage on the Ala that they had done multiple times before in this game, in this series, that worked out. But he just got the Mega Gnar at the right moment, pushed the entire team back in, and all it came down to was that split-second decision-making. What we've said LNG have had over BLG this entire series, and they win the game because of it.
It sucks, too, because Icon, up to that point, was like doing a solid job, right? Even surprising us, like the topside play where he went in with the shuffle, and we're like, why is he going in? Like he's by himself and buys enough time for his team to get there.